everyone. There were two important vocabulary words or things that we learned in the last chapter. One was plankton. Plankton is a mixture of tiny plants and animals found in the ocean, and we saw that whales enjoy eating that. We learned that an orca, another name for it, is a killer whale. That orcas are black and white. They're great acrobats, so they're used in parks to perform tricks. We learned that they were fierce hunters. They like to eat fish, seals, birds, squids, turtles, and sometimes they'll even eat the young of other whales. They're not known to attack humans, but that doesn't mean that they won't. We also had our first real problem of the story. Wanda and Tim's little whale sub was tossed around by the orca, and they lost radio contact with Miss Frizzle and the captain. Let's see if we find out what happens to them. You ready for chapter 6? Here we go. Chapter 6. Meanwhile, in the bus sub, Captain Gill and Liz were frantically flipping switches on the instrument panel, trying to locate the whale subs. Bus sub to whale subs, come in, all whale subs, Miss Frizzle said over and over into the radio. There was no answer. Blasted barnacles, moaned Captain Gill. I hope that nothing has happened to the little mateys. Their radios aren't working, Miss Frizzle told him, but I can see 4 blips on the sonar screen. They're all close except one. That's the one that Tim and Wanda are in, I think. It looks like whale 4 was pulled farther away than the others. I'm sure they'll be all right, but let's get going. As my second cousin A. Ocean always says, the early orca catches the squid. She spoke into the radio again. Calling all mini subs. I can see you all on the sonar screen. If you can hear me, stay where you are. Enjoy the scenery. I'm coming to pick you up. In whale 1, Carlos and Arnold were staring out the window of their sub. I knew I should have stayed home today, Arnold said. Now I'll never get home in time to water my rock collection. Don't worry, Arnold, Carlos told him. I'm sure the Frizz will rescue us soon. And look who's out there. I don't believe it, Arnold said. That whale that just swam by, it's Dandelion. Right, Carlos said. I see the tail markings too. That's definitely the same humpback we saw before. Oh no, it's opening its mouth, Arnold said. It's huge. It looks like a soup bowl, Carlos said. It's big enough to hold a car. Open wide, by Carlos. A humpback can open its mouth really wide because it has grooves on its throat that expand like an accordion. It can hold many tons of water in its mouth at one time. I'll show you the picture in a minute. As Dandelion came nearer to the sub, it opened its mouth even wider. We're going to be his lunch. We're going to be lunch, Arnold moaned. Just then, Arnold and Carlos watched as Dandelion swam past them into a mass of tiny fish and plankton. Yikes! When Dandelion's bowl was filled, the whale closed its mouth. Then water came rushing out the sides, nearly sending the mini sub into another wild spin. Toothless Eaters by Arnold. Whales that are not toothed whales are baleen. Baleen whales don't have teeth. Instead, they have baleen, which is also called plates. They're long strips growing down from the upper jaw. Baleen is like a built-in strainer. Water, plankton, and tiny fish called krill go into the whale's mouth. Remember we learned about krill when we found out that penguins eat that? The whole whale pushes the water out and the fish and the krill stay inside. Each whale bite contains 1 million or more tiny fish. It's a good thing we weren't any closer, said Arnold. We were almost part of Dandelion's dinner. Dandelion swam away just as the bus sub pulled up alongside Whale 1. Miss Frizzle opened the door to the docking platform, and Carlos steered the mini sub inside. "Ahoy, mateys!" cried Captain Gill as Arnold and Carlos came into the cabin. "You wouldn't believe how much a humpback can eat, Captain Gill," said Arnold. "Humpbacks eat a lot when they're up here in the feeding ground," the captain explained. "They eat as much food as they can up here in the winter before they make their long journey south. They may not get to eat again for months." "Blubbering blubber," by Arnold. Whales store their food as blubber, a layer of fat under the whale's skin. Remember, most of our polar animals that we learned about had blubber too, to keep them warm. Blubber keeps the whale's body warm when it's in cold waters, and the whale lives off its blubber when it's migrating. "Where are the other kids?" asked Carlos. "Have no fear, Carlos," said the Frizz. "We're on our way to Whale 2. Don't you know that you kids are always on my sonar screen? Liz, set the controls. We're off to pick up Keisha and Ralphie. Tomorrow, Chapter 7, we'll pick them up and see what happens. I hope they can find Tim and Wanda." Here's one more thing from Captain Gill's Whale Watcher's Handbook. Every year, humpback whales migrate from the cold polar waters where they feed to the warmer tropical waters. So they go from the north down to the south, kind of like some of the birds do. There they mate and have their babies. And in the spring, the whales swim back north with their young new baby whales. Humpbacks swim very slow. They only swim about 3 miles per hour, but they travel 1,000 miles a month when they migrate. See you tomorrow. We're learning a lot about humpback whales, aren't we? Take care. Bye-bye.